Kindness, in its purest form, is a virtue that benefits both the giver and the receiver. But like any good thing, when applied without wisdom, it can become a stumbling block. Today, I want to walk you through the 4 ways kindness, when mismanaged, will ruin your life. When you prioritize everyone else over your personal calling, you begin to lose sight of why you're here. This might sound harsh at first glance, but it's the reality we need to confront. There's a fundamental difference between selflessness and self-neglect. Many people believe that by always putting others first, they are living a life of service. But what happens when this constant kindness toward others starts to erode your sense of direction and purpose? The answer is simple: you lose yourself. Kindness, when used without balance, becomes a distraction. It pulls your focus away from the very reason you exist, your purpose, your mission in life. Every person on this planet is born with a purpose, a unique reason for being, something they are supposed to accomplish that no one else can. But purpose requires attention, time, and energy. If you're constantly diverting your energy toward helping others in ways that are draining you or taking you off your path, you are unintentionally sabotaging your destiny. Let's take an example. You may have a great idea for a business, a project, or a personal endeavor that could positively change your life and the lives of others. You are excited about it, and you know it aligns with your talents and passion. But every time you're about to take that next step, a family member asks for help, a friend needs a favor, or your colleagues require your support. Out of kindness, you drop your plans to attend to them. 1 time, 2 times it seems harmless. But this becomes a pattern. Slowly, your personal project gets pushed further and further into the background. You begin to feel the weight of frustration, wondering why you never have time to work on what matters to you. This is the trap of misplaced kindness. I want you to think about the word focus is defined as the center of interest or activity. You see, focus is necessary to manifest anything significant in life. If you're continually allowing distractions, even in the form of kindness, to pull you away from your center of interest, your purpose, you're scattering your energy. Think of a magnifying glass in the sun. It can ignite a fire if the light is focused through it. But if the light is diffused, it does nothing. That's exactly what happens to your potential when you allow your energy to be constantly diverted to other people's agendas. Your focus is diffused, and your purpose remains dormant. Another point to consider is that when you let kindness distract you from your purpose, you're not only doing yourself a disservice, but also those you're trying to help. Why? Because you're giving from a place of limitation. If you're not growing, evolving, and walking in alignment with your purpose, then your capacity to help others is greatly reduced. Imagine a well that isn't replenished, it eventually runs dry. In the same way, when you neglect your purpose, your own well of strength, creativity, and inspiration dries up. And when you do help others, it's coming from a place of exhaustion rather than abundance. Your purpose must be the anchor in your life. Without it, you drift aimlessly at the mercy of other people's needs and desires. This doesn't mean you shouldn't help people or be kind. But it means you need to operate from a place of balance, where your purpose is protected, nurtured, and prioritized. You have to understand that your purpose is not just about you. It's about the impact you're meant to have on the world. If you continually let distractions take over, you're delaying the positive contributions you're supposed to make to society. Kindness is not about being available to everyone at all times. It's about knowing when to step in and when to step back. You need discernment to recognize when kindness is necessary and when it becomes a tool for others to manipulate your time and energy. People will always have needs, and it's good to help when you can. But it's also important to realize that not every request or demand on your time requires your immediate attention. You have to learn to say no without feeling guilty, because every no to a distraction is a yes to your purpose. In fact, saying no can sometimes be the kindest thing you do, not just for yourself, but for others as well. When you focus on your purpose, you become more effective, more fulfilled, and more capable of truly helping people in a meaningful way. Your impact will be far greater because you're operating from a place of strength and direction, not depletion and distraction. So as you move forward, be kind, but don't let kindness derail you from your purpose. Remember why you're here. Protect your energy. Focus on what matters. By doing so, you'll not only fulfill your destiny, but also inspire and help others in ways that truly count. The moment you allow kindness to cloud your judgment, you open the door to having your boundaries eroded. Kindness is often viewed as a noble trait, one that fosters compassion, empathy, and community. However, it's crucial to understand that kindness without boundaries can become a recipe for emotional and mental exhaustion. Boundaries are essential in every relationship, whether personal or professional. They are the limits we set to protect our well-being and ensure that our kindness does not become a burden. When kindness is expressed without boundaries, it blurs the lines of healthy relationships. Consider this: you have a friend who continually asks for your help. Initially, you're happy to assist because you genuinely want to support them. However, as time goes on, their requests become more frequent and demanding. You find yourself consistently rearranging your schedule, sacrificing your time, and in some cases, even your mental health. While you may feel good about being kind, the reality is that you're allowing this relationship to drain your energy and erode your self-worth. You may think you're being kind, but in truth, you're enabling an unhealthy dynamic where your needs are pushed aside. It's essential to recognize that boundaries are not barriers, they are protective mechanisms. They define where one person ends and another begins. They help establish a clear understanding of what is acceptable and what is not. Without these boundaries, you risk creating a dependency in others. They may come to expect your kindness and feel entitled to your time and energy. This expectation can lead to resentment both on your part and theirs. You may feel overwhelmed by the constant demands, while they may not understand why you suddenly seem distant or unwilling to help. It's a lose-lose situation that can easily be avoided through clear communication and the establishment of boundaries. When kindness becomes a means of avoiding conflict or discomfort, it only reinforces the cycle of enabling negative behavior in others. Many people struggle with saying no out of fear of disappointing others. They may think, if I say no, I'll be perceived as unkind or selfish. This thought process perpetuates a culture where individuals are left feeling guilty for prioritizing their own needs. When you lack boundaries, you are not only putting yourself in a position of discomfort, but also teaching others that it's acceptable to rely on you for everything. This dynamic creates an imbalance where your kindness becomes a tool for others to exploit. It's important to remember that setting boundaries does not make you a bad person or unkind. It makes you a responsible individual who understands their limits. Boundaries allow you to be kind in a sustainable way, ensuring that your generosity does not come at the expense of your mental and emotional health. This in turn empowers you to offer your kindness more genuinely and fully because you are not operating from a place of depletion. You can give because you want to, not because you feel obligated to. Creating boundaries begins with self-awareness. It requires a clear understanding of your values, limits, and priorities. Start by identifying what aspects of your life are non-negotiable: your time, your emotional well-being, and your personal goals. These are the pillars that should not be compromised. Once you have established these boundaries, communicate them openly and assertively. You might say to your friend, I truly want to help you, but I can't commit to every request. I need to focus on my own responsibilities as well. This kind of communication is not just respectful, it sets a precedent for how you wish to be treated. Setting boundaries is an ongoing process. You will need to continually evaluate and adjust them based on your circumstances. Sometimes you may need to be more flexible, other times you may have to stand firm. But the key is to remain consistent in your approach. When people understand your boundaries, they will learn to respect them, and you will feel more empowered in your relationships. Establishing boundaries does not mean you must stop being kind. In fact, it enhances your ability to be kind because you are coming from a place of strength and clarity. Instead of feeling drained after helping others, you will find joy in your interactions, knowing that your kindness is a choice, not an obligation. This shift in mindset allows for healthier relationships where kindness is given freely and reciprocated. Kindness should never come at the expense of your mental and emotional health. By setting clear boundaries, you protect yourself while fostering healthier relationships with others. You can be kind, but you must also be wise. Understanding the importance of boundaries will ultimately empower you to engage in kindness that uplifts rather than depletes, ensuring that your capacity for compassion remains abundant and fulfilling. When kindness is misapplied, it can foster dependency in others, creating a dynamic where people come to rely on you for their emotional or practical needs. While helping others is inherently noble, it is crucial to recognize the fine line between offering support and enabling reliance. The act of giving should empower both the giver and the receiver, but when you consistently provide assistance without considering the implications, you risk creating an unhealthy dependency that can hinder personal growth for both parties. Imagine you have a colleague at work who consistently seeks your assistance with their projects. At first, you willingly offer your expertise and time, believing that you are being helpful. However, as weeks turn into months, you notice that they rarely attempt to tackle their tasks independently. Instead, they start to come to you for every little issue, big or small. Your kindness, intended to be a supportive gesture, has turned into a crutch for them. By not encouraging them to solve problems on their own, you inadvertently undermine their confidence and skill development. This pattern can lead to a toxic cycle where the individual becomes increasingly reliant on you, stunting their personal and professional growth. Dependency is not merely about physical assistance, it can also manifest emotionally. Some individuals may become so accustomed to leaning on you for emotional support that they neglect their own coping mechanisms. For instance, if a friend consistently turns to you during tough times without making any effort to address their challenges independently, you may find yourself overwhelmed by their constant need for reassurance and help. Your willingness to be there for them may seem like a form of kindness, but it could ultimately deprive them of the opportunity to develop resilience and emotional maturity. It's essential to recognize that everyone is capable of growth, but that growth often requires facing challenges independently. When you step in too often to help others, you may unintentionally communicate that they are incapable of managing their own lives. This is a disservice to them. Instead of fostering a sense of agency and responsibility, you may be perpetuating a cycle of dependency where they feel helpless without your assistance. To break this cycle, it is crucial to encourage self-reliance. When someone asks for your help, consider whether your assistance will empower them or enable their dependency. Ask yourself, is this person capable of solving this problem on their own? How can I help them develop the skills or confidence they need to tackle this situation? Instead of providing immediate solutions, consider guiding them toward finding their own answers. This could involve asking probing questions or sharing resources that they can use to address their challenges independently. It's important to set limits on the kind of help you provide. Boundaries should not just protect you, but also foster growth in others. When you establish clear limits on your availability or the extent of your assistance, you encourage those around you to take initiative. For instance, if a family member often asks for financial help, you might say, "I can't lend you money, but I can help you create a budget to manage your expenses better." This approach redirects the conversation toward empowerment rather than dependency, equipping them with the tools they need to take control of their financial situation. Another critical aspect of addressing dependency is to model self-sufficiency in your own life. When you demonstrate that you can handle your own challenges and pursue your goals, you inspire others to do the same. Sharing your experiences, how you overcame obstacles, made decisions, and took risks can serve as a valuable lesson for those who tend to rely on you. This modeling behavior sends a message that resilience and problem solving are not just possible but necessary for growth. It's also essential to recognize when your kindness crosses the line into enabling behavior. If you find yourself constantly bailing someone out of difficult situations, whether financially, emotionally, or practically, you must reflect on whether you're truly helping or if you're fostering dependency. Enabling behavior often leads to resentment, burnout, and frustration, both for you and the person you are trying to help. It's vital to maintain the balance of kindness that encourages growth while ensuring that you do not become a permanent support system that stifles their independence. Kindness should be a tool for empowerment, not a means of creating dependency. By encouraging self-reliance, setting boundaries, and modeling resilience, you foster an environment where people can thrive independently. True kindness empowers others to face challenges, develop their strengths, and realize their potential. This approach not only enhances your relationships, but also contributes to a more robust, capable community where everyone feels empowered to tackle life's challenges with confidence. Embrace the idea that your role is to lift others up, not to carry them, ensuring that your kindness cultivates independence and strength rather than dependency. In conclusion, kindness is a powerful and transformative force in our lives, but it must be approached with wisdom and discernment. While it is a noble trait that can uplift and inspire, we must recognize that unchecked kindness can lead to unintended consequences, such as eroded boundaries, emotional exhaustion, and dependency in others. To ensure that our kindness remains a source of strength and empowerment, we must establish clear boundaries, encourage self-reliance, and model resilience in our own lives. By being mindful of how we express kindness, we can create healthy dynamics in our relationships where support is given freely but not at the cost of our well-being or that of others. This balance not only protects us but also fosters growth and independence in those around us. Ultimately, the goal is to cultivate an environment where kindness empowers rather than depletes, where it inspires individuals to step into their own power and take ownership of their lives. Let us strive to be kind, but let us also be wise in our kindness. By doing so, we can contribute to a world where compassion thrives, where everyone is encouraged to reach their full potential, and where our collective kindness becomes a catalyst for positive change. Remember, true kindness is not just about what we give, it's about how we empower others to rise, to grow, and to shine.